Hello, welcome to Fishing Squad. Well, it'll be 7 o'clock Friday night for you guys. I'm going to try and make this a regular thing. Obviously, I'm a bit grounded at the minute. By the time this video gets released, I'll be back in Wales. I could potentially be fishing, but at the minute, I'm going to continue to bring you some content. I'm just going to talk about um, night fishing kit. Like what we'll discuss in this video. I want to discuss about the kit, your lighting, maybe extra bits of tackle stuff to make it a more comfortable, enjoyable session for you when you're night fishing. And we'll talk about mindset as well. Sometimes fishing at night can leave you feeling really vulnerable, especially if you're solo. But we'll talk about how you get around that, or how I get around it, and what works for me, and it might help other people out. That's what I'm trying to do. Like with the last video, the braid versus mono, it's not gospel. It's what works for me, and maybe it'll work for other people too. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. We'll talk about lighting and things that makes it a better experience for you, in my honest opinion. So we'll get into it. So we'll start with lighting before you've even left for the mark for fishing. Now there's several headlights on the market. You can pay anything from 10 quid to 350 or more. I'm not sure how much the more expensive ones are. I've got like a budget one. A lot of my stuff, as you've seen, will be budget. That's all I can afford. But I always buy stuff that'll do the job. Um, I won't buy stuff that will let you down. That's really cheap. Saying that, my backup head torch, so I'm sure using this for this demo is a cheap one. But my main head, we'll start with the head torch, obviously. That's going to be the most important thing, I think, for night fishing. This is a Clue light. I'm not sure on the exact model. I'll put a bit of footage in of the where you can get these. HL13 use CH2. I don't. We'll put a bit of info in about that. I'll show you the link on Amazon. Yeah, this link's on eBay. £41.20 delivered. Absolute priceless bit of kit. Really good head torch. Very reliable. It's a small cost for a safety investment. That really. There's obviously better ones on the market, but this is a good one to start with. Basically, Clue light is a really good light. It's got a really long beam on it. So people who've used it, I've fished with, they don't like the fact that it's got a long beam on because they say it's no good for close-up stuff. Now, to me, it's all right for close-up stuff. I don't know where people get that from. It's probably because the beam's so expansive. But what I like about it is when you're night fishing solo or you've got to walk to a mark, which usually I have a mile and a half walk to a mark in the pitch black, you can see everything around you. It's like a beam of light around you. I don't care who you are. We're going to mention this a little bit. When it's pitch black and you're on your own, you do feel a little bit vulnerable. With that, honest to God, that in itself has improved my night fishing experience 200% because of that long beam. I don't feel vulnerable because I've got a great big head torch on me. It's got a real beam. You can see everything coming at you. Any rustles in the bushes, you're onto it. Generally it's a fox or a badger or a rabbit. But yeah, there's obviously some more expensive ones you can get. I think Fenix is absolutely, in comparison to the Clue light, in terms of price range, you're going like budget. I've had this one for 3 years, by the way. It's never let me down. It's rechargeable. Lasts, I think, 6 to 8 hours on high beam, or 10 to 12 on low. You don't need to put it on high. Low beams like high beam basically. There's not much difference. So yeah, Fenix. Sorry, like I was saying, you're going for a massive price jump. Then I think you're getting into the hundreds, but you'll probably get something that'll last a lifetime rather than a few years. But the Clue Light one is a good place to start. Truthfully, my backup one, I will be getting a backup one. I will get another one of these as the main one. This will be the backup one. But yeah, so you do need to take a backup one with you, just in case that one fails. Now, you should really have a better one than this, but I'm just showing you for demonstration purposes. Just get a cheap backup one that'll get you off the rocks. This is just a Temu one. It could be the difference between getting off the rocks and not, couldn't it? Generally, that clue light has never let me down, but it's always good just to have a backup one. There's better backup ones than that. That's just one for the demonstration purposes of the video. Always have a backup one. Like I say, it'll just get you off the rocks and get you safe and where you need to be, and so on and so forth. Yeah, well, that clue light is very good. Say if you're fishing somewhere where there's lobster pots, you can shine the light right out. You can see everything on the surface of the sea. I've had sessions before where I've spent more on head torches with less beams, and I've heard stuff moving in the water, stuff like that in the water. Shone my light down, could just about make out two eyes. It's probably a seal, but I'm 90% certain it was a seal. I couldn't quite make it out. That you can. And there was one instance 2 years ago where I heard some squeaking, from some sort of animal. I could not work out for the life of it what it was. But without that, I'd have been blind still now. There were otters off a North Wales rock mark. Madness. They were struggling a bit, actually, to be fair. But like I say, it's all stuff that just... What it does, that clue light, is... What I'm getting at here, we're going to be talking about mindset in a bit. Mindset, when you don't need much to freak you out when you're solo, truthfully. But we'll talk about mindset in a minute. So what else would you need? You could use... you can see up there, I've got a petrol lamp. I'll just grab that now. This happens to be a Coleman dual fuel. It still needs a bit of work doing to it to get it back running, unfortunately. But it's nearly ready to go. But they're really reliable, these. And if you're solo, they're a very good piece of kit. You've got, obviously, it's twin mantle. It makes a nice sound, which sometimes can be a bit therapeutic if you're solo. We're brushing on mindset, aren't we, still here? Now, guys, I just want to get that content out there, keep a regular stream of videos coming. Now, some of them might be boring to some people. Like I say, I'm only here to put some content on my channel, and if it's some help to some people, then it's a bonus. But they are worth getting, especially if you fish solo. Because I'm YouTubing, I prefer a floodlight for filming and stuff. For the sections of video where I chat knackers. But these are very good because they're warm. In winter, obviously they're warm anyway, but they're warm. Something warm to have with you in winter. It's got a nice sound to it, which if you're fishing somewhere where it's quiet and you want something just to break that silence for your mindset, these are good. And also, you can warm one of the pies in foil up. You can warm a pie up in foil on top of it. They're reliable. It's a really good piece of kit. It is something else to carry. So if you want to be mobile, it's probably not the best thing to take with you, but they are a very good piece of kit. There's loads on the market. Old school tiller lamps are very good as well. There's a Powerhouse version of one, Coleman Powerhouse. There's a North Star. They're all brilliant bits of kit. Run on unleaded petrol. Fuel tanks here. You get a filter usually that you pour the petrol in to purify it, to get any contaminants out, because they can damage your generator if you just use neat. But they're very good bits of kit. They've gone a bit out of fashion, but I think people are realising that they missed the old lamp. Brilliant for beach fishing, superb. There you go, Coleman dual fuel. So yeah, let's look at some other bits of kit we can take with us. Just some little camping lanterns are good. I don't know if this has got any stuff like that's good. It's always good when I'm doing it from the vision at the minute. I'm just doing it from the idea that we're on a rock ledge. So if you have that near your tripod or near where you're cutting your bait up, it's just nice to have a couple of marker points. You could have one at your rod rest and one where you chop your bait up, just so you've got some, a bit of an area marked out, so you can see what you're doing in darkness. So you could have, if you've got the petrol lamp, you could have that way. I usually have that where my bait is. I usually have some form of lighting near my rod rest for baiting up and stuff, and obviously I've got my head torch as well. So it's good just to have, to section things off and have an area that you're working in that's got some lighting in it. But they're good. They're very good. They're all right. You know, they're cheap. I think I got them from Go Outdoors. They're less than a tenner. I've got a set of two. I can't remember if I got them both together or not. And they've got a compass on the top, which could be handy if the wind swings around and you're unsure. Yeah. So obviously, if you're on a beach, you probably it depends what you're fishing for and how you go about it. But you might only want to take the lamp and the head torch, or just the head torch on its own, because you might not want to put too much light on the water. I don't particularly like fishing on beaches because I feel really open and exposed, but um, that's just my own opinion. I'm used to rock fishing. I'm absolutely smashing it with night fishing, not rock fishing. I feel comfortable as anything. Um, Something else I like to use is I'll just get it. Well, actually, I haven't actually got it with me, but I will put. I'm going to put a screen recording in now of what I've bought, and it lasts. It charges up when it's off a full charge. It lasts 6 hours, so it's brilliant for filming. Um, to get good photos when filming at night, if you're just doing photographs, you want to be putting your floodlight at the side of your phone. Or this is how I do it. If you're using a phone, I don't know how you do it with a GoPro. You put your floodlight at the side of the phone, and then you put your phone on timer, and it gives you some really nice lighting to get some photos. I'll put some photographs in now, but also I'm going to put first and foremost. I'm going to put this is the floodlight now. Yeah, so this is a floodlight I use. It's available on Amazon. There's two sizes of it. One's obviously brighter than the other. It's about 16, 17 quid. Lasts 6 hours off a full charge. Very reliable. You could also use it if you wanted to for moving around. It's light enough to carry just like a lamp, even lighter than a lamp. You get a good range of light on it. Very bright. Perfect for filming. Very good. So yeah. So that about photos. Put your camera in selfie mode and then timer. You get on my phone. I think you get 3, 5, and 10 seconds, but it gives you a chance when you put your floodlight on first. Phone in selfie mode, timer. Press the button, and it just gives you a chance to get the right angle. With it being a timer, with your fish, obviously. So yeah, so that's what I do anyway. Right, next thing is something visual on your rods. I've been using tip lights. Truthfully, I never used to use tip lights because I just thought if I'm catching anything decent, I'll hear it on the ratchet. But they've been very useful with filming and stuff. When I've been doing a selfie camera mode on my videos, chatting knackers in the foreground, you can see the rod tips in the background sometimes moving with a bite. I think they've been very good for that. And I think I'm a bit lost without them now, to be honest. There's plenty on the market. I've got some with a recharger that recharges the batteries, and I've had them about a year, and they've been pretty good. I'm about ready to change them, to be honest. I think the batteries have about seen better days, and the tip lights have to as well. But I think they were 20 quid with the charger, and I'll put a section of that off my eBay thing when I bought them, just so people know what to look for. But there's a lot of good ones out there. If you put a question on some of the fishing sites on Facebook groups or whatever, get some really good answers with some decent tip lights. But I'll put mine on now. Alright, so there's plenty of USB chargeable tip lights on eBay. You can get various colours, generally red and green, or just plain green. There may be some others out there, but it's useful to get the rechargeable ones. They're cheap enough. I've just had a look at these. I think the most I've seen them up for is $10.99. So there you go. They're really good, these, to be fair, for night fishing, especially if you're filming. They really do add a bit of extra visual for your videos, obviously extra visual for the fishing, and they can be pretty important actually now, I think. I never thought that before. So you can see. I think that about covers it for lighting as far as it goes. It really does make a difference to the experience of night fishing on the rocks. You probably want to be a bit more stealthy when you're on the beach. You probably just want I'd say just a dim head torch and a tip light will do. Some tip lights will do for the beach fishing. I don't really like night fishing on a beach. I feel really vulnerable, because there's nothing on either side of you. A lot of the time when I'm rock fishing, what I like to do is I like to get a screen on one side of rocks So you're only dealing with like this side. So if you've got a screen on this side, you're only dealing with this side. And vice versa, screen on this side, so you're only dealing with that side of being open. I've just got to think about the openness. So what else can make it comfortable? You've seen it in my videos. I'll give Paul a mention again. Take a stove or a Jetboil down with you. Make some fresh brews. Make a brew kit up with some tea bags. Take a cup down, some milk. It's also extra stuff to carry. But trust me, especially in winter, it's well and truly worth it. So this is a Fire Maple Jetboil that I've got, similar to this. Mine's a Fire Maple 3, but there's a 1 out there, there's a 2 obviously. I think this is the 1. Very useful. They've got like an neoprene sleeve on the pot. When that's red hot, you can pick the pot up without burning your fingers. It's really good. Very efficient, doesn't use much gas, boils in no time at all, much faster than just a standard stove. The heat's really concentrated, and it's a fantastic bit of kit, well worth it. Also, you could always take a flask ready-made up, but the experience of making a fresh drink to taking a stewed drink down, it's really two extremes. Yeah, so a flask, realistically, you've got to see it as an investment. So I'd get an expensive one. It doesn't have to be as expensive as this. I reckon this is the best flask you could get, though. Lincoln, you'll recognise this. You've got one. They're pretty much unbreakable. They're superb bits of kit. All that back in here. That can make it more comfortable for you. And then obviously, last but not least, just think about your clothing. In winter, I've always got that on. IMAX jackets. I'm not a fan of IMAX now. I've had it a year. I've had to put the bottoms in the bin. But what they are good at, they're good at blocking wind out. There's a lot of jackets on the market that'll keep you warm. IMAX do keep you warm. I just don't think they're as. I think because of the amount of fishing I've done, it's just not been up to it basically. Jacket's on its last legs, bottoms in the bin. But they do block the wind and they are warm. Now, I haven't had mine leak yet, but I've only washed it 4 times in a year. You can imagine it's stunk at sometimes, that. But there's other ones. Penn have brought a suit out. I think there's a decent price on them in ABC and on Anglesey, actually, though there was, from what I've been told. There's a few other bits and bobs that you could consider clothing-wise. I always wear a hoodie underneath everything, and obviously some joggers. Just keeps you warm. Then obviously in summer, I'm happy wearing a cap, t-shirt, just an hoodie when it gets dark, if it cools off. I like to wear shorts constantly in summer. Footwear wise, always wear something substantial, whether it be at least wear wellies. I've got cheap wellies with some studs in. Some people have got the Snowy Rockhoppers. I don't know how good they are, I can't comment, but I'm guessing they're pretty much all right. You could always wear some heavy duty work boots, just something solid. Obviously on the beach you might want to wear waders. It just helps with landing fish and stuff, maybe casting out. And if the sea does come in a bit, you pin back maybe into an area of the beach where you have to wade a little bit to get out safely. It's very useful. So right, we'll move on to mindset. Right, mindset. Now I know that night fishing isn't everybody's cup of tea. And depending where you do it, it'll depend probably on sort of your mindset. It doesn't matter who you are, when it's pitch black, you don't know what's coming at you. You're going to feel vulnerable. You feel vulnerable anyway when it's dark. It's just a natural thing. But trust me, 110% guarantee it, there is nothing else out there other than you and your fishing rod when you're fishing. Right. If anyone approaches you, they're only going to be asking you, have you caught anything? Or it's going to be a fellow angler. That's my experience. It might be different in other areas of the country. I personally don't like being approached by anyone at night. Luckily, where I fish, I'm really out of the way. It's not like an area where people go, so I've never really experienced anyone coming up to me. It would be a bit weird if it was 2 o'clock in the morning and someone approached you. I do admit that, but just keep calm. If someone comes to talk to you, talk to them. But you hear all sorts of stories. So one thing I wouldn't do a few days before I go fishing, Don't watch a horror film. Don't watch anything Ghost Hunter wise, because that'll knock your mindset off completely. I have read stories of people seeing figures and stuff out the corner of their eyes when they've been night fishing. There's been some cracking ghost stories of white ladies without eyes and stuff, with just eye sockets for eyes and stuff. But truthfully, I don't know. I've been night fishing sort of a lot in the last couple of years, and I've done it before all my life, and I've never, ever seen anything that's sort of. I thought there's an explanation for that. The only thing that I worry about is stuff in the sky. Because I've seen the chain of satellites go up. I don't know what you call that. And that chain of satellites go up. I've seen that. I've seen meteors. I think they are. I've seen loads of shooting stars. Obviously, you see airplanes, but you also see stuff that flies around without any particular flight pattern. They can only be satellites, but that's the only thing that I get a bit on edge with. Everything else I'm sound with. I don't believe in ghosts, don't believe in the paranormal or anything like that. But I feel I need to bring it up because we're all human, aren't we? We all have an imagination. That's all it is, imagination. It's your own mind making you think that there's something there when the only person you need to be most scared of is yourself, probably. And always have that in your head. You need to be more afraid of the living than the dead. If there's something there, I'm talking about it loosely. I'm not trying to go into it in too much depth. I don't want people to think I'm a complete nutter. You have to be a bit mad to do this night fishing. But I'm just saying, if there's anything paranormal out there, which I personally don't believe there is, you need to be more afraid of the living. That's the truth. And you're here living your life, so you need to live it. Push yourself on and do it. If you want to night fish somewhere where you know you're going to catch fish, and you're desperate to night fish it, but you daren't, what are you waiting for? Just get out there and do it. If it's safe, just do it. You're here to live. You're alive. Anything else is like subconscious mind, isn't it? That's just playing tricks on you. So yeah, that's how I get around that. And like I said, I like to set up with a screen of rock side of me, and then just fish out like that. Keep yourself busy as well. Pre-bait rigs, wrap some baits up, make a brew, and above all, just enjoy it. Don't be scared. Just enjoy it. You know, you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for you, and it's a real good experience when you catch fish solo in darkness. It's buzzing. And if the fish are feeding, brilliant. If they're not feeding, just give it a couple of hours. And if you're still not catching out and you do want to go, go. I prefer going down in darkness and fishing till daylight. Then coming up in daylight. True, that's why I really enjoy doing that type of session. To be honest, I don't mind it too much the other way when you go down in daylight and come up in darkness either. And I can stomach going down in darkness and coming back up in darkness. I can basically stomach the lot, can't I? Then, but I'm just saying, I prefer that going down in darkness, coming back up in light. But yeah, just do it. I've heard some cracking ghost stories, but like I say, I just think it's people's minds feeding them. Yeah, that's what I believe in anyway. There's obviously areas of the country where you're going to think, bloody hell, there's a lot of historical stuff that's gone off there, but there's no to be scared of, is there? It's just a load of stories, isn't it, that are playing with your mind, like I say. So yeah, just keep yourself busy when you're down fishing. Keep focused on what you're doing. Don't look around too much. Don't be spooked out by odd sounds because it's dark night. Sometimes it's a lot quieter on night, and so if you live near a built-up area, it's going to be a lot quieter. So there will be odd sounds that you maybe haven't heard during the day because they've been blocked out by the noise pollution of roads, maybe of factories, etc. Just don't freak yourself out for no reason. You're a fisherman. You're here to fish. That's what you're doing. So enjoy what you're doing. That passion you've got for fishing. Don't waste it. Don't let something else ruin it for you. There's no need to be like that. I've been like it. Truthfully, I've been like it myself before. I've been freaked out. Just cut sessions short, but I've realised that you just get stronger, and when you get more used to something, you don't give a toss, basically. So you're down there, you're fishing, you're happy. You have your own routine for what you do on a night. My routine is to get down there, tackle one rod up, fire it out, make a brew, Steadily tackle the second rod up. Sometimes I've already got a fish on the bank, and it's a good routine to get into. I do prefer rock fishing at night to beach fishing. I don't particularly like fishing off beaches, but that I'll probably notice. Didn't really any videos of me solo night fishing on the beach, but there will be this year. There will be this year because I'm going to push myself to do it. So I just get obsessed with the rocks. To be honest with you, what we're catching on the rocks and what have you. So yeah, that's my take on it. Be afraid of the dead. Don't be afraid of the dead. Be afraid that. Be more worried about the living and what's happening around you rather than the dead. If someone does approach you, listen. If you've got to defend yourself in any way, they approach you in the middle of nowhere, mate, and then they're not being nice to you, you defend yourself as much as you need to. Honestly, highly unlikely to happen. Highly unlikely. But, you know, don't mess about as far as protecting yourself. Same with if you're built a pair and it happens. I don't believe it will happen. I'm just putting it out there, though, because it's something to consider and in the back of your mind. So, yeah, that's my take on the night fishing. Just do it. Like I say, I think I've gone through kit, lighting, what I do, stuff to make it more comfortable. Take some food with you as well. You could always make a pot noodle sometimes with this kit. It's really nice to have freshly cooked pot noodle. It's not exactly gourmet food, but it is really nice to have something warm. And yeah, so that's my take on the night fishing. But just remember that phrase when you're down there and something freaks you out. Be more afraid of the living than the dead. That's the way to go. You know, a few of my family members have passed away, and I just think to myself, we're here to live our life to the max. While you're still here living, let's come on, have a word with yourself. Let's live the life that we want to live. Right. So that's a bit deep, that, wasn't it? But yeah, just enjoy yourself. I hope this has helped a few people with a bit of focus. Just play this video back when you're fishing, and it'll soon focus you. Carl says, enjoy yourself. Don't let it bother you about being vulnerable at night when you're night fishing solo. And obviously, the other thing is, if you take someone with you, when I take someone with you, any of them anxieties or thoughts where you do feel a bit vulnerable, it's like, what does that tell you? Why would it be different when you've got someone there to hold your hand? It's no different if you're on your own or got someone to hold your hand. It really isn't. I hope this has been some help to some people. Like I say, I've tried to keep the content going. The next video should be a fishing video. And if you put some comments in, even share some spooky stories if you want. Like I say, I've never had anything dodgy happen to me when I've been night fishing. There was one thing happened to me when I went onto a beach. It was 3 hours before low tide. And I got onto the beach a while ago. I was ready for it, right up for it. It was middle of winter, it was freezing, it was pitch black. And it's a beach in the middle of nowhere, and there were footprints on the tide line. It freaked me out. I had to bail. Luckily, it was light within an hour. So I just stayed in the car till it got light. But it was like 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of nowhere. It proper freaked me out. I'm wondering if someone had been netting the beach, and they'd come and got the net. I reckon that could be it. So, yeah. It's like it's going to be something fishing related, isn't it? Or walking a dog. That's all it can be. Yeah, so the other thing is rationalise the thoughts in your head. I've left the video on a bit of an hanger there, and like talking like you're tough, and then yeah, it can happen still. But yeah, like I say, live your life for you, and yeah, I don't think many people cover this aspect in the YouTube videos, do they? But it is there. It is there. Trust me, no matter who you are, it is there when it comes to night fishing. Right, guys, nice one. Hopefully, I hope I've participated in the chat. If I haven't, I will be out fishing. But if you want to drop some comments, by all means do. I think it'd be interesting to see what your own thoughts are. But like I say, I'll say it again. Live your life for you. Be more afraid of the living than the dead. If there's anything out there, don't let it ruin your fishing. Yes, nice one. All right, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your fishing, and I'm off now. So keep safe, tight lines, I'll see you very soon. Thank you very much. Just remember, it's mind over matter, guys. Enjoy your fishing. Don't let anything stop you.